The untold story of World War II. In 1939, the world stood on the edge of darkness. Nations were rebuilding from the wounds of the First World War. Cities were rising again. Families were learning to smile. But beneath the surface, anger, revenge, and ambition were quietly growing. And then, the storm began. This is not just the story of battles and victories. This is the untold story of fear, sacrifice, survival, and the human cost of World War II. The rise of a storm. After World War I, Germany was left broken and humiliated. Its economy collapsed. People were starving. Jobs were gone. Hope was fading. In this chaos, one man rose to power. Adolf Hitler promised to restore Germany's pride. He spoke of strength, unity, and revenge. Millions believed him. Slowly, he rebuilt Germany's army. Slowly, he broke the rules of peace treaties. And slowly, the world watched, but did nothing. Until it was too late. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. Tanks rolled across borders. Planes filled the skies. Cities were bombed. Civilians ran for their lives. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. The Lightning War. Germany used a new style of attack called blitzkrieg, meaning lightning war. It was fast. It was sudden. And it was deadly. Tanks, planes, and soldiers moved together with terrifying speed. Poland fell in weeks. Denmark fell in a day. Norway, Belgium, and the Netherlands quickly followed. Then came France. France had one of the strongest armies in the world. But Germany attacked through a forest no one expected. Within weeks, Paris was captured. France surrendered in 1940. Europe was now under Hitler's shadow. The Battle of Britain. Only one major power stood against Germany in the West, Britain. Hitler wanted to invade. But first, he needed control of the skies. German planes began bombing British cities day and night. London burned. Buildings collapsed. Families hid in underground stations. This became known as the Blitz. But the British people refused to surrender. Pilots, many just teenagers, defended the skies in small fighter planes. They faced wave after wave of enemy bombers. Against all odds, Britain survived. This was Hitler's first major defeat. The war expands. In 1941, Hitler made a fatal mistake. He invaded the Soviet Union. It was the largest military invasion in history. Millions of German soldiers marched into Russian land. At first, they moved fast. Town after town fell. Soviet forces retreated. But then winter came. Temperatures dropped below freezing. German tanks stopped working. Soldiers froze. Supplies ran out. The Soviet army fought back with everything they had. In the city of Stalingrad, one of the deadliest battles in history began. For months, soldiers fought street by street, house by house. There was no escape, no mercy. Over 2 million people were killed in that single battle. In the end, Germany was forced to surrender at Stalingrad. This was the turning point of the war. The war comes to America. While Europe burned, the United States stayed out of the war. But on December 7, 1941, everything changed. Japan attacked the American naval base at Pearl Harbor. Planes appeared suddenly. Bombs rained down. Ships exploded. Over 2,000 Americans died. The next day, America joined the war. Now the conflict had become truly global. The darkest secret. While armies fought on the battlefield, a terrible crime was happening behind the scenes. The Holocaust. Hitler believed in a hateful idea that one race was superior. Millions of innocent people were targeted, especially Jews. Men, women, and children were taken from their homes. They were sent to camps. Many were forced to work. Many were starved. Many were killed. Over 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. This remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. War in the Pacific. In Asia and the Pacific, Japan was expanding fast. They captured countries, islands, and cities. Their army was powerful and fearless. But America began to push back. Huge naval battles were fought in the ocean. One of the most important was the Battle of Midway. In just a few days, America destroyed 4 Japanese aircraft carriers. This changed the war in the Pacific. From that moment on, Japan was slowly pushed back. D-Day, the beginning of the end. By 1944, the Allies planned to take Europe back from Germany. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, the largest invasion in history began. Thousands of ships crossed the sea. Planes filled the sky. Over 150,000 soldiers landed on the beaches of Normandy, France. German forces fired from above. The beaches were covered in bullets and explosions. Many soldiers never made it off the sand, but they kept moving forward. Slowly, they broke through Germany's defenses. France was freed, and now, the Allies were marching toward Germany itself. The fall of Hitler. By 1945, Germany was losing on all sides. The Soviet army attacked from the east. American and British forces attacked from the west. Berlin, Germany's capital, was surrounded. Inside a bunker underground, Hitler knew the war was lost. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler took his own life. Soon after, Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was over. People celebrated. Soldiers cried. Families reunited. But the war was not finished yet. The final blow. On August 6, 1945, the city of Hiroshima was destroyed in seconds. 3 days later, another bomb hit Nagasaki. The destruction was beyond imagination. Cities vanished. Tens of thousands died instantly. Japan finally surrendered. World War II was over. The cost of war. The war lasted 6 years. Over 70 million people died. Cities were destroyed. Nations were broken. Families were torn apart. But the war also showed the strength of the human spirit. Soldiers sacrificed everything. Nurses saved countless lives. Ordinary people showed extraordinary courage. And from the ashes, the world began to rebuild. The untold truth. World War II was not just about leaders and armies. It was about a mother waiting for her son who never returned, a child hiding from bombs in the night, a soldier writing his last letter home, a family trying to survive another day. Behind every victory, there was loss. Behind every medal, there was pain. The legacy. After the war, the world changed forever. New superpowers emerged. The United Nations was created to keep peace. Countries rebuilt their cities and their lives. But the memories remained. Even today, the stories of World War II remind us of one important truth. War brings destruction. Peace brings life. Final message. World War II was one of the greatest tragedies in human history. But it also showed the bravery, sacrifice, and strength of humanity. And that is the untold story. Not just a story of war, but a story of survival.